Welcome to what is probably day 7 of my 20-day vlog challenge. Today we're talking about two things: 14 books that I would like to read and 14 books that I have read. Basically these are just a selection of the books that I'm going to read based on which books I actually had in the house today. So the first book is actually the next book on my reading list, and it is Gulliver's Travel. We don't know anything that happens in this book. I'm guessing there's a guy named Gulliver. That's all I got. Number 2 is Catcher in the Rye, and I also know nothing that happens in this book, but there was a Tumblr post that was going around that said, one day I'm going to hire a prostitute and just tell her about my feelings. And then there's a picture of this book. So I guess there's someone with feelings, and possibly a prostitute. Number 3 is The Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare, and I want to read it because I really like the movie She's the Man, and I know that that's based off of it. So the copy I have to show you is this. It's the complete works, and then there's The Twelfth Night. But yeah, there you go. But I have my own. This is Paul's. I have my own copy of just the comedies, I think. I don't know. So this won't be the copy that I'm reading, but it's just a copy that I'm showing you. Number 4 is Foundation by Isaac Asimov. It was recommended to me by my stepdad, Brian, and he is so excited for me to read it. He recommended it like a year ago. But I don't know what it's about. I just heard it's kind of a tough read, so. Number 5 is, I'm saying Alice in Wonderland, but I understand that's not what it's called. I have this book, which is the complete illustrated works of Lewis Carroll, which is also Paul's copy. It's probably the one I'm going to be reading, and I'm a little confused as to how this works exactly, because there's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and there's Through the Looking Glass. I always thought what I wanted to read was Through the Looking Glass, but I don't know. I'm looking at the chapter titles. I'm going to have to do some looking into this, or maybe someone who watches this will be able to tell me. Number 6 is a book that Paul recommended to me when we first started dating. It's called Interview with the Vampire, because I've never read any vampire fiction other than like teen vampire fiction like Twilight, so I would be interested in seeing the other side to vampire fiction. Number 7 of the books that I'm showing you is The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner by Stephanie Meyer. I've read all the Twilight books. I enjoyed and didn't enjoy them to certain degrees. What makes me enjoy something is not necessarily the quality of it, so it's really hard for me to explain how I feel about it. So I'm gonna read this so that I have it in my knowledge tank, and it's short. It's a novella. So number 8 is Paper Towns by John Green. I want to try to read some of his stuff. I think next after this would be Looking for Alaska, but whenever I'm reading either books in a series or books by an author, to avoid clogging up the reading list, I put the first one on it at the bottom of the list. When I get to it, then once I've finished it, then I'll put the second book at the bottom of the list. So once I've done this, if I'm interested in reading Looking for Alaska or what have you, then I will put that at the bottom of the list. So I'm going to start with Paper Towns, because I can. Number 9 on the list is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I decided to reread this series, and like I just mentioned before, the way that it worked was I recently finished Harry Potter 1, so I put Harry Potter 2 at the bottom of the list. So it's been a while since I've read this. This is the one I've read the most, but I'm really enjoying remembering all of the stuff that happened in just the book versions, because I've been living off of the movie versions for so long, mostly reading Deathly Hallows and the Half-Blood Prince within the last like 5 years or so, so I'm gonna give Chamber of Secrets another whirl. Number 10 is This Is a Book by Dimitri Martin, which I got for Christmas from my mom. What I've seen and heard from him is funny, and I think that he is very talented at what he does, so I'm gonna take a crack at his book. Number 11 is Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, because I have to know how this goes. People say that she's not a good writer. I don't know how I feel about that, because she created a world that people care a lot about, and it takes a good writer to do that, so I guess it depends on how you're defining that. And I want to know if I enjoy her work outside of the world that I've grown so accustomed to. So yeah, I got this for Christmas also, and it's coming up. It's quite low on the list. This isn't even my full list. There's lots of books that I just didn't have here to show you. Number 12 on the list is The Maze Runner, which I just got at the Calendar Club. Take the sticker off there. Since it's closing. So they had a huge sale on books. This actually only ended up being like $2. And it looks pretty interesting. Couldn't pass up a book sale like that. Number 13 on the list is something that I just added today actually when I was looking through the books, which is Macbeth. I don't know what it was about the way I went through high school, if it was everyone in my year or what the issue was, but we were supposed to read this in high school and I never did, so I would like to give that a fair shot. And I thought I had 14 books in that pile to show you. There was only 13, so I'm going to show you the one I'm reading right now. The Story of Mathematics. It's not really a novel. It's like an illustrated, story. Right now I'm learning about the origin of arithmetic, so we talked about the origin of like recording numbers, digits, base 10 systems, counting, and all that. So those are 14 books that I would like to read. 13 books I would like to read, 1 book I am reading. Now let's talk about 14 books that I have read. Okay, so unfortunately with this list I super duper failed at finding some hard copies to show you because none of my stuff is here, and if I've read it recently, then to make more space I just put it back home at my mom's with the rest of my stuff. So I only have a bit here to show you. I'm going to show you 5, and then I'll just list some other ones that I've read recently. Okay, going in reverse chronological order, the book I just finished before reading The Story of Mathematics was The Da Vinci Code. It was good. I found the level of detail to be kind of annoying and distracting, and certain specifics that I didn't like, but overall I thought it was a good read. Before that, I read the first Harry Potter book, as I mentioned. This is actually the copy that I read. I don't know if I mentioned that The Chamber of Secrets was Paul's copy. I'm going to read my own copy. This is not the original copy that I had when I first read the book. It was first read to me in the 4th grade by the teacher. She read a chapter every day of the book to us. And so then I went out and I got the next one for myself because I liked it so much. And I'm pretty sure she read us Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And so then when I went out and got my own copy of the Sorcerer's Stone, it was the Sorcerer's Stone, not the Philosopher's Stone, and it was paperback. And I read so much, and I was young, right? So the spine just totally fell apart, and it was in like 3 pieces, and the tape was not holding it together at all. So when I went out and got another copy, I got the proper Philosopher's Stone one, and I've only read this copy 2 times, I think. So, and before Harry Potter, I read Flatland. This is a double book. It also has Sphereland, which I've tried to read twice. It's only okay. Flatland is wonderful. One time I asked for Flatland for Christmas a couple of years ago, and they gave me this, which, I'm thankful, and it is 2 books in 1. But I wanted an older copy. When I originally read it, my geometry teacher in high school lent it to me. It was really, really old, and I really liked it. It's small. It's just technically an essay because of its length, so I wish I had a better copy of it. But it's a book about a 2-dimensional land full of shapes and dealing with the idea of there being higher dimensions. So the 2-dimensional world couldn't deal with the fact that there was a 3-dimensional world. And then it sort of says, like, but humans can't seem to deal with the fact that maybe there's a 4-dimensional world. Anyway, that was pretty cute. Before that, I read Kushiel's Dart. It took me a really long time to get through. It was recommended to me by Cheryl, and there was parts of it that I couldn't put down. There was parts of it that was hard to get through. And I don't even know, I feel like I was having a hard time near the end, so I think I actually skipped a bit and then read a bit to catch up, and then skipped a bit and read a bit and then just read the end. Yeah, about a girl. She's kind of a prostitute, but in this world that's like not really a big thing. That's like not illegal or anything. It's just some people will have sex with you. You want them to. What I did like about this is there weren't different sexualities. People had preferences, but it was sort of assumed that people liked people, and anything gay or lesbian was not really treated any differently. It was just two people. So I really liked that part of it. And the only other book I have around that I've read recently was A Deathly Hallows, which I read around the time that movies were coming out, and then I think I also read it after the movies came out. I don't know, I read it a few times in the last few years. It is hard to get through for me. I'm just crying all over it. The day this came out, in 2007, it was pre-ordered, and it came to my house at 9:30 in the morning. And I woke up to the door, ran downstairs to meet the delivery guy, got the book, took it to my room, read it all day, broke a couple of times to grab food from the kitchen. My mom made me take half an hour break to eat dinner, and then I finished it at 10:30. I stopped a lot to cry. It's really hard, and it's been an emotional ride ever since. Okay, so here is a list of books that I also have read recently. Here are the two lists in their entirety. And that's it for today. That was an awful lot to get through. What are we talking about tomorrow? I'm gonna check. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about 13 songs that I can't get enough of, I think is the technical title of it. I just have 13 songs written down. So, not necessarily my favorite 13 songs, but they're 13 current obsessions. So, I'll see you tomorrow.